So in my recent trip to LA to play Black Ops 4, I found that one of the most important things that they are putting into the game are the various specialist characters. As we've talked about in previous videos, at the beginning of the game you're able to choose one specialist character and only one person on your team can actually play as that character, whereas in Black Ops 3 everyone could play as the exact same character. And another thing that I found interesting as a comparison between the two games is at release, Black Ops 3 had a total of 9 specialist characters. Later on, they added a 10th as a DLC specialist character, but the interesting thing is, as of right now in Black Ops 4, the build that I played, there was 8 total specialist characters, and then in the trailers, we actually get to see 2 additional specialist characters. And that's kind of what we're going to base today's video off of, is talking about all of the specialist characters in the game as of right now, what their abilities are, and what the different characters do differently. That is what we're going to be talking about today. The other thing I'd like to mention before we get into that is that I would strongly assume that there is going to be more than the 10 of the specialist characters that we've seen at the release of the game. I may be wrong, there may only be 10, but if I was a betting man, I would bet that there are going to be more than 10, which if you ask me is pretty exciting and adds, once again, a lot more content to the game. But let's talk about all of the specialist characters that we know are going to be in the game as of right now. But before we get into that, I just really quickly wanted to say, seriously guys, thank you for all of the support on the recent videos. All the likes and amazing comments that you're leaving are seriously helping out the channel. In the last 3 days, we've got over 2,000 subscribers. So seriously guys, thank you so much, and thank you for your continued support. If you keep hitting that like button, I'm going to keep bringing you the best content I can physically possibly do. But anyway, let's talk about the specialist characters. So, as far as the 8 specialist characters that were in the build that we played, I'm going to have gameplay of every single one of them. Not all of it is my gameplay. And if I use another YouTuber's gameplay, I'm going to put their watermark on the video, and I'm going to leave a link to their channel down in the description, so go check them out if you're interested. But the 8 specialist characters in Black Ops 4 that we could play as included Battery, Ajax, Torque, Firebreak, Crash, Recon, Rouen, and finally Cereth. So the first character we're going to look at is Battery. Battery was actually a character from Black Ops 3, and her specialist ability in Black Ops 4 is War Machine, similar to what it was in Black Ops 3. Basically, this is a grenade launcher, and with the one in Black Ops 4, you can fire off about 6 grenades before it expires if you fire them all back to back to back really quickly. I would have to say that the War Machine is actually a little bit less powerful than it was in Black Ops 3. I think it takes a second for the grenades to actually explode, whereas in Black Ops 3, they would pretty much explode directly on impact. So it's very, very similar to Black Ops 3, but a little bit different. The second ability that Battery has for her R1 button is actually a cluster grenade. So what this one does is when you throw it, it explodes like a normal grenade, but then it breaks apart into smaller grenades that deal less damage, but cover a larger area. The one other thing I'll say about Battery is in Black Ops 3, she had a second ability, so when you press L1 and R1, and it was kinetic armor. As of right now, kinetic armor is not in the game. Whether they're going to be adding extra specialist abilities to each character, I'm not 100% sure, but as of right now, her only specialist ability is War Machine. Next, we've got Ajax. Ajax is a new character in Black Ops 4, and his specialist ability is a ballistic shield. Basically, this is a riot shield, a weapon that used to be in older Call of Duty games. It is now a specialist ability. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the more underpowered specialist abilities. It's not a weapon. It's very difficult to get kills with, and it's still pretty easy for enemies to kill you. The R1 ability for Ajax is a 9-bang. Basically, this is a stun grenade. It both stuns and flashes the enemies, and the longer you cook it, so the longer you hold it back, the more it's going to detonate and the longer your enemies are going to be stunned for. I thought that was a really cool way of doing it. I never got stunned by this, so I'm not sure how annoying it is, but I think that one is actually a pretty cool ability. I like that the longer you cook the grenade, the more it flashes, the more it stuns people. I do like that. And the one other thing you got to remember is that all of these abilities that I'm talking about all have cooldowns, so you can't just use them back to back to back. They take a while to cool down until you can use them again, especially the specialist abilities where you press L1 and R1. They take quite a long time to actually charge up and get, similar to Black Ops 3. Next up, another brand new character to Black Ops 4, we've got Torque, and this is very similar to characters that you can see in Rainbow Six Siege. Basically, this character is a character you're pretty much only going to want to use in objective game modes, and his 2 abilities are Barricade, that's your L1 and R1 ability, and Razor Wire. So Barricade is a deployable reinforced cover that you can get behind, shoot people. If your teammates get behind it and kill people while behind it, you actually get a kill for it, literally 125 score if your teammates do that. On top of that, if your enemies get near it, there's a microwave field that slows and damages enemies, kind of similar to the Guardian score streak from Black Ops 3. But really, that microwave field really isn't that big. It's not that much of a threat, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. And the R1 ability is Razor Wire. This is something literally straight out of Rainbow Six Siege. Basically, he lays it down, and if an enemy walks through it, it damages the enemy, and on top of that, slows them down. So really good at controlling zones and choke points for objective game modes. Next up, we've got Firebreak, and if you ask me, Firebreak is probably one of the most powerful specialist characters as of right now. His L1 and R1 ability is Purifier. It's exactly the same as it was in Black Ops 3. It's basically a flamethrower. The one thing I will say is I think the range of the flamethrower is much further in Black Ops 4. That may change once the game's actually released, but as of right now in the build that we played, it had a very long range. And the second ability is a Reactor Core. Now this one's kind of similar to Heatwave, but it's something that Firebreak actually has to activate, place on the ground, and once he does, there's a radiation field that goes around himself in a circle. The longer he holds it, the more it does damage, but if he holds it too long, it also does damage to himself. So you kind of have to be careful when using that one. And I think that's a really good way of actually balancing that, is that the fact that it damages Firebreak if he waits too long, as well as the enemies within that circular radius. Next, we have Crash, once again another new character to Black Ops 4, and this one's interesting. This one's a healer. So his first ability, his L1 and R1 ability, is the TAC-5. So this ability allows you to actually heal your teammates. You can even heal them through walls. Now, you can heal up to 4 teammates, and when you do so, you don't just heal them, you actually give them a health boost. Their health goes from 150 to 200. Now, I do think that this is actually balanced because of how long it actually takes to earn this specialist ability. So it takes a while to earn it, and then you can only use it on 4 teammates. You can't use it for that long. You can't use it across your whole team or on yourself. So I really don't think it's too overpowered. But then his second ability is Assault Pack, and basically what you do is you deploy this. It's an ammo pack. Your teammates can pick it up, and when they get kills with the ammo you gave them, it actually awards them bonus score. I believe it's 25 extra score. Not 100% sure about that one, but that's what I think. So Crash is a really interesting character. It's a role we've never seen in Call of Duty before. He doesn't deal damage. He heals his team. He's really a support character, which, like I said, has never really been seen in a Call of Duty game before. So it's going to be really interesting, both in pub games and competitive games, to see how Crash really helps out the team and how he compares to the other specialist characters. Next up, we've got Recon. Recon is kind of like Outrider from Black Ops 3, but this is one I think is going to be very good for rushing players. His 2 abilities are, first of all, Vision Pulse. This is L1 and R1 abilities. Basically, it pulses the map and enemies are revealed. You can see them through walls, similar to that in Black Ops 3. But the difference in Black Ops 4 is that not only can you see it, so can your teammates. So literally the entire enemy team is revealed to your whole team. His second ability, his R1 ability, is a Sensor Dart. Basically, he shoots a dart, and if enemies are within that proximity, he's able to see them. He can see them through walls. This one only you can see, not your entire team. That is the difference between the specialist ability and the R1 ability for Recon. Also, the Vision Pulse covers a much larger area than the Sensor Dart does, just so you know that as well. Next up, we've got Rouen. Rouen was once again a character from Black Ops 3, and he's very similar to what he was in Black Ops 3. So his first ability is Grav Slam. This is identical to Gravity Spikes from Black Ops 3. I think it is a little bit smaller of a radius than that of Black Ops 3, but I'm not 100% sure with that, so don't quote me on that. And his second ability, which is more interesting to me, is a grappling gun. So basically, he can shoot a grappling gun and zip across the map to a further location. Once again, I don't think this is overpowered because it has to charge up. It takes time to reuse it, and I really don't think it's that powerful. There's not any crazy spots you can get to on the maps with it. So overall, I don't think it's that powerful, but it's definitely a fun piece of equipment to use. And then the final character we were able to play as was Cereth, and if you ask me, Cereth is overpowered. I think Cereth is going to get quite a large nerf before the release of the game. First of all, you got the Annihilator Pistol. This is exactly the same as the Annihilator from Black Ops 3. It's a big pistol, shoots a big bullet, and kills someone if you shoot them with it. it. It has really strong aim assist, similar to Black Ops 3. The big difference, though, is it lasts a lot longer than Black Ops 3. You can get nearly 9 or 10 shots off with the Annihilator in Black Ops 4, which is way more than you could in Black Ops 3. So I think that needs to be nerfed a little bit. And also, the R1 ability, the tac deploy, is also very, very strong. Basically, it's a tactical insertion, but not only you can respawn on it, your entire team can. And they can respawn on it until its time runs out or the enemies kill it. I think this needs to be nerfed. I think it lasts too long, first of all. Also, the fact that your entire team can spawn on it is very, very strong, especially for objective game modes, or if Cereth plants it behind the enemy team. Once again, that is very strong. So I think the biggest way to fix this one would be make the time that it's up shorter and make it so your teammates can only spawn on it once, because if they can keep doing it, dying and dying and dying over again, it's a little bit ridiculous. So those were all of the specialist characters we could actually play as at the event, but there was also 2 other ones that they showed in both trailers and in some display cases at the actual event. So the first of which is Nomad. Nomad was a character in Black Ops 3, as we know, but he is drastically different in Black Ops 4. So his 2 abilities is his L1 and R1 ability is he can call in a dog, a pit bull, and this thing runs around and kills people. I'm not sure whether it follows him like the dog in Call of Duty Ghost, or it literally runs around the map like a dog score streak in other Call of Duty games. Like I said, we couldn't play as this character, so I don't know how strong that ability is. His second ability is actually a gun that shoots trip mines. So if you see any lasers throughout the trailer, it's his trip mines, and if you run through them, it kills you. The one thing I will say about this, the thing that makes it not overpowered, is these trip mines are extremely easy to see. I don't know how easy they are to take out, but you won't really miss them if or well you're trying to avoid them or something along those lines. And the final character is the most mysterious out of all of them, and that is Prophet. So I know he's going to be in the game because they had a display case at the event that I was at, but they didn't really show him in any of the trailers. The only thing we really saw is a mystery character that we've never seen before, and it's this character you're seeing on screen here with a sniper rifle. We don't know who this character is. It may be Prophet, it may not be Prophet, could be another specialist character altogether, and we also have no idea what his abilities in game are actually going to be, because of course his main ability in Black Ops 3 was the Tempest, but I don't really see that fitting in this game. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that actually plays out, what his abilities are, but as of right now, we really have no idea. And on top of that, it might not be Prophet that we were looking at there. It might be another specialist character altogether, because I really wouldn't be surprised if there was more than 10 at launch. The only thing we know for sure as of right now is that there will be at least 10. Other than that, we don't really know. But these are all of the specialist characters we know as of right now in Black Ops 4. It's pretty clear that they want to make these specialist characters a really big part of the game, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as long as they're balanced correctly. So, if you see any problems with any of these specialist characters, let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it very much if you could hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my videos, and if you want to be notified when I upload them, be sure to hit that bell button. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.